Hi, welcome back everybody. I hope you enjoyed my previous two videos. And in this one, I want to tell you fully some insight about the life on a cruise ship, what it was like working a foreigner, not an English speaker, on a ship where I was surrounded by a lot of nationalities in terms of crew members. And there were mostly United States citizens, some English and Puerto Rican, and basically from all over the world as well. But 90% of the passengers were from the United States, and it was a great way for me to pick up the American accent. I tried to pick up the American accent, and I have been practicing ever since. I've been polishing my American accent, and of course I will never sound like a native American. I just copy them, I just fake them, and maybe end of the day I will get very close, but I will never get there. But if you consider a lot of people in the United States who have been living there for many, many years, they have very strong accent because of their homeland, because they weren't born as a native speaker. And I think it requires a lot of efforts and determination to pick up that accent, because it doesn't come automatically. You don't have to take it for granted that you can pick up the right accent. It needs a lot of work, a lot of practice, watching a lot of videos, and there are a lot of teachers around on YouTube and other platforms, Instagrams and TikTok. There are a lot of platforms, video sharing platforms, when you can pick up the American accent, and this is the closest to me. I know there are other accents, for example, Australian, Canadian, British accent, but most of the passengers were from the United States, so that's why it is closest to me. I heard it most of the time, and this is the accent of music, this is the accent of American movies. So this is the reason why I think this is really widespread all over the world. And that's why I chose as well learning that accent. And I think this video is a kind of proof that as a foreigner it is possible, but it requires practice. So what happened after arriving Dawn Princess, because the last video stopped when I arrived in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and my 8 months long hard work started there. 7 days a week, 12 hours a day for 8 months long. So when you say that working 12 hours a day without any day off, it sounds horrible, because what we are waiting for during the week, we are waiting for the weekend. So this is the goal of the 5 days work, that on Sunday or Saturday we can relax, we can be with our friends, we can watch television, we can surf the net, we can read books, or we can go to the theater or cinema and go hiking, whatever hobby you have, you can do it on weekends, because during the week you spend time with your work. But there was no weekend. There was nothing to waiting for. There was nothing to wait for, and it was a little daunting, to be honest. To be frank with you, it was a little bit discouraging. There was no weekend, but there were some things which was really new for me. For example, on a ship, everything works. So this is a very special environment that everybody has a duty, everybody has supervisors, superiors, or you can report your problems all the time if you have, and usually problems are solved immediately. Otherwise, the whole community, the whole structure wouldn't work. So it was strange, because when you work on the mainland, things, I don't tell you that never, but there are problems on mainland. Anywhere you are, at your workplace, at home, you don't have all the time somebody to turn to. But there was everything. Even there was a morgue. Somebody passes away on the ship, so that corp has to be taken somewhere. And there was a printer printing, there was a newspaper, for example, a daily newspaper for passengers, not for the crew members, of course. For the passengers. This newspaper was issued for the passengers every day about the latest news. I mentioned earlier, so it was 25 years ago, so internet was not carried in people's pocket as today, because today what you do, you just open up a news page, and for free you read everything, what happened the previous day, and even what is going on at present everywhere. So internet a little bit transformed our world, and I think in the future, this information technology will transform even more dramatically our everyday life. What I am doing today is because of the social media, because of the information technology. So back then, I didn't know, I couldn't imagine that I would tell these stories in the format of online video to anyone. So anyway, we were there, we worked, and the work was hard. People say that, oh my God, so work on the ship can be very, very hard. It was because it was a manual work, first of all, because we had to run like a headless chicken all the time. We have to be very fast. And it required a lot of walk because there were distances, between the restaurant and the kitchen. We had to run very fast. For example, when a guest wanted to have some ketchup, I had to run into the pantry to get some ketchup. And after that, oh my God, excuse me, I forgot to tell you that I need some mayonnaise too. Okay, I will get you mayonnaise. And they got it for him or her. And oh, I'm sorry, but I forget mustard. And I run again. Of course, the smile was everything. So we had to smile all the time. So here in Hungary, when I go to a restaurant, I really see smiling waiters. I really see smiling faces. Even in the street, I didn't see many people smile. Okay, maybe in the United States, people don't walk in the streets with smile on their faces. But when you enter anywhere, for example, a shop, you go to the grocery store, even you buy a ticket for the cinema, you receive a smile. You are given a smile. Here in Europe, not in Hungary, in Europe, smile is not that indispensable part of the service industry. But in the United States, smile is everywhere. And what American people say that the smile is fake there. So it's not an honest smile. They smile because they have to smile, and they don't smile because they feel like smiling. Here in Europe, you don't get smile, but at least it's honest. It is straight face, and not it is a serious face, but it's not fake. It's a real one. And if you get smile in Europe, it's a real smile. So it is a much more price-worthy smile here in Europe than in the United States. United States, the smile is cheap because it is devaluated. The smile is devaluated in the United States. Here in Europe, smile is an expensive thing because you rarely get it. And really things are expensive, just like gold. Okay, smile is gold here. What a wonderful comparison. But anyway, we had to smile all the time. And most of the time, this smile was fake, of course, because we greeted the passenger with a smile at the beginning of the dinner service, breakfast service, lunch service, and people or passengers get their questionnaire forms. They got a piece of paper, even on their tables and in the cabins, to tell their opinions about the service. Actually, this paper had tons of questions regarding the food and the service staff and casino and the reception desk and the crew staff and everybody who were on the ship. They were listed on this paper, and passengers had to tell their opinions about the service. And there were about 4 questions regarding to waiters, whether the waiter was friendly, whether the waiter was smiley, whether the waiter was informative, or whether the waiter was knowledgeable about the menu, for example. So there were questions, and we had to explain the food, for example, and we had to be knowledgeable about the next port, or knowledge about the wine, knowledge about even we had to tell things about our home countries. So American people love talking. So this is different because here in Europe, people are not that talkative, not as friendly as American people, but American people are very open, very friendly, very welcoming, and they believe everything. So anything I told them, they, wow, really? I said, oh, really? Anything I told them. So one of my stupid Hungarian friend told them that in Hungary we still ride horses. We don't use cars. We travel on the horseback everywhere. So this is a really traditional country. This is the vehicle here in Hungary. And what American people answered, really? I said, really? Of course, it was an idiocy. It is not true. And one of my other friends said in Florida that here in Hungary in the 1990s, he got orange for Christmas as a Christmas present. Orange, because, okay, in the 1980s, these tropical fruits were rare here in Hungary because we were behind the wired fence. But of course, later on in the 1990s, orange was everywhere, and now orange available everywhere here in Hungary. But he said that the American people, that he received oranges for for Christmas as presents, and they said, "Really, you get oranges here in Florida? We have oranges everywhere." So it was just, of course, joke, but American people believe that, especially elderly Americans. So they were very sweet. They were very sweet. They considered us their grandchildren, because I was 22, 23, 24 years old, young boy, and they were much older, especially when we went on cruise in Alaska. In Alaska cruises, passengers' age were between 60 and 80 years of age. They were older. They loved talking. They didn't really focus on food. They didn't focus on the port. They focused on the outside world. They wanted to communicate, because they were old. They didn't have many people around them in their normal life. Of course, on the ship there were a lot of people around them, but in their normal life, maybe they were lonely. Maybe their grandchildren didn't visit them that often. And of course, it is the same thing here in Europe, that elderly people tend to be very talkative. For example, you bump into somebody at the bus stop, completely perfect stranger, and that old lady may tell you her whole life story without any introduction. And it happened to me pretty often here in Hungary. But we are on the ship, and this video is just about ship life, but also some language learning, expressions, and telling some funny stories, what happened back then. And I think every single day happened something remarkable. But as I mentioned, I spent there, I think, 8 contracts. It was 5 years, so I cannot really remember everything. And it was 25 years ago, so my memory can fade away with time. But I try hard to remember some occasions, and especially I remember how I learned the words, how I wrote expressions, by not understanding them first time. So I did not understand the word, I didn't understand the expression, and I memorized it. And that evening, I looked the word up in the dictionary, and it stuck. So negative experience can be very helpful. However, I don't encourage you to bump into very inconvenient situations all the time in order to remember a language, in order to memorize something. But for me, these occasions, these occurrences, these examples were really, really helpful. I tell you one thing. There was a head waiter. He was named Mancuso Salvatore. I did not like him at all. He was from Sicily, Italy. He was very, very strict man, and he did not like me either. And one day he came over after dinner service, and he remarked my quality of work by saying, "Oh, tonight your job was unacceptable." And since I did not understand the word unacceptable, I gave a smile. I said, "Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you very much." And he said, "Oh my God, he's an idiot." Of course, because I did not understand the word unacceptable. And I went down to my cabin that evening, and I checked the word. I looked it up in the dictionary, and I realized that it's very negative. If someone works unacceptably, it means that the work did not come up to the standard. So it was way below the standard. I did not perform well that evening. So this is the story how I memorized the word unacceptable. And another thing is, when I was told, and I repeat to my students many times, when we learn, this is your last chance. Yes, we learned the word chance. And I was told once, this is your last chance. Anybody can do your job. I'm watching you. And when we learn the grammar present continuous, and we learn the word watch, and I explain the difference between watch, look, and see, I always tell the example that I'm watching you. It is a very straight, it's a very concentrated function of our eyes, because our eyes have multiplied functions. Sometimes you see something, but they didn't notice that what is in front of you. Daydreaming, for example. So there were stories, and I mentioned this video. Maybe it will be the last one, but still I couldn't go any further from my last experiences. So probably I will continue the ship stories in my next video. I don't want to make it very long because it will be, after all, a little bit boring listening. So see you next time.